Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of B to Z Podcast. I'm Zach Batista, here with my co-host, Brandon May,
What's going on, guys?
and an extra awesome, extra special guest, Mr. James Warf.
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Fucking Jim! Sound effects, sound effects.
Coming to you from your home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for opening this up to us.
Psyched to have you.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the layer right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely a treat.
It's a
you know?
creation station, you know?
Yeah,
It's
makes
definitely
it
my space.
makes it personal.
Yeah.
I feel like as we're developing the show, it's important when we're
Yeah.
dealing with artists to kind of catch them in their environment.
Well, that's what I was telling Zach. I was like, you're going to probably get the best of me if I'm in my own space, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you feel comfortable, but you don't always get homes. You know, some of us don't even have them. You
Yeah,
know,
don't even have him yet.
keep drawing if you don't.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? Keep selling some more shit. It's exciting to be here. Jim has been tattooing for a long time. He did my stomach. We worked together for a little bit at Elizabeth Street. He's been referenced many times on Mike McCaskill's episode. So we're excited to bring you an individual. Today's episode for me is about artistry and the embodiment of artistry.
Cool.
One who's developed his craft in a way where it exudes to be his lifestyle. You know, it is his lifestyle. So a lot of people do art and you can't tell their pieces. You know, if you go to a Jim or Die show, there is a very specific look and niche to everything that he does. It's not just, one thing and then it looks this way. No, they're all developed by vampires and wizardry, and he burns blood and candles, and it's very, very deep.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said. Is that a poem?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right. So it's super important to me. He's one of my favorite tattoo artists. I feel like I got to say that.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
Just because I feel like respect from me in artistry comes from being able to develop your own style, and it has to exude your internals. You know, Jim is somebody who he doesn't try, he just is. You know what I mean? And that's a good way to be. So here's
Thanks, man.
Jim
That's
Warf,
awesome.
everybody. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Thanks for all those kind words. That was tight.
Yeah, man. I think it's important to be said.
Yeah, that
you
was
know?
nice, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You've been tattooing in the Inland Empire for how many years now?
It's 20, probably almost 24 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you tattooed outside of the Inland Empire?
Yeah, I've done I've done a couple of guest spots like Reno, Denver, Colorado Springs. Trying to think where else. Philadelphia, Florida, Canada. We did some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spots like that. You know.
Yeah. Who apprenticed you, Jim?
Well, Brian. I don't know if I got apprenticed technically. You know.
Yeah.
I just kind of had friends that were tattooers. And they kind of let me watch and teach me a lot of stuff. I did that whole like, if you want to be a tattooer, you go get tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
So I just would get tattoos from people that I knew, and then I'd just ask them stuff. And then when they find out, they're like, "Oh, you're interested in this, right?" And they were like, "Oh yeah," they're like, "Just say that," because they already knew I drew and stuff.
Yeah.
So then they taught me stuff, and then after that, I kind of was fucking around tattooing, and then Brian kind of found me and through mutual friends, and he kind of like got rid of all the bad habits, you know, which Brian's like good at.
So
Good at refining.
have you been a lifelong artist?
Yeah, I think since I was little, since I was real little.
Yeah. Do you remember your first forms of?
I can't remember. I remember. I think I've been an artist since I could remember, dude. But I have a really early memory of going to my grandma's house, and my grandma's boyfriend at the time was like a window painter, and he took me window painting with him one time, and he was like painting fucking like, snowscapes and trees and shit. And I remember him using sponges. And now, as an adult, I look back and I go, that shit's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, that dude just made a fucking forest in like 2 seconds.
looks amazing.
I was
Yeah.
like, what the shit? And
Yeah.
I remember going home and telling my mom, like, this is great. I want to be a window painter, you know? And then she said from then on, I just started doing stuff. But I think after we got back from that trip, I went, because I got in big trouble for, I painted a bunch of rocks.
Okay.
I grabbed a bunch of rocks And I painted them all up, and then I walked around the neighborhood with a bag of rocks. I was selling to my neighbors.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and my mom found out, and she was like, "Dude, that's embarrassing, man. Like, you gotta go back."
She didn't like that?
Well, she was just like, "Dude, it looks like we're like
You're
hurt,
peddling?
like we're trying to get some money, you know?"
Yeah, yeah,
And so
we-
she had to walk around and like we walked around and like explained and like I had to offer like, "Oh, here's your money back. Here's your 50 cents or whatever," and like.
Yeah.
And everybody was cool with it, but I remember her being like, she's like, "That's crazy." And then after that, I was just drawing freaking robots fighting lizards and stuff. It was tight.
What age did you either want to get tattoos or think that your art was going to end up as tattoo art?
Dude, I don't know, man. I remember, because my dad has tattoos, and I remember thinking they were cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and all of his friends had tattoos, and I remember thinking they were tight, you know?
Yeah.
And like, so I remember just always like liking them and wanting them. I remember thinking they were cool. And my parents had a thing. They're like, "All right, you turn 18." Like, my dad was like, "I'm gonna take you to get tattooed," and my mom was like, "I'm gonna freaking take you to get, your ears pierced or some bullshit," you know?
Nice.
They always
Super
because neither of them wanted the other thing to happen.
Yeah.
So they were like, "I'm gonna take you to do the thing first." And and I think after that it was just it. And then when I turned 18, I was 17, and I was gonna move away from Nevada. And I was like, "All right, I'm leaving." So me and my friend went, and I had a bass guitar, and I freaking sold it to like another buddy, and then we took that money, and I went and got tattooed from some dude that just didn't ask questions.
Yeah, which city in Nevada did you?
Silver Springs.
Silver Springs.
Yeah, which is right outside of Reno. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were born in Reno?
I was born in Fallon, which is
Okay.
like another tiny town. It's like a res town next to it. Mm-hmm.
Growing
like a
up-
rodeo town. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, man.
Do you think that's inspired some of your art?
Yeah, I think all of it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because we grew where my house is at. There's like there's still to this day. There's like a neighbor like across like the desert. You can kind of see. There's a couple houses that popped up here and there, but it's still like just open desert forever.
Yeah.
And stuff. So like it's just like nothing was out there. You could have bonfires and shoot guns in the front yard and stuff.
Do you think that like solitude helped you?
Yeah, I
As
think
an
you
artist?
gotta like flex your imagination. You're doing that stuff.
Right.
You know? Especially me and my friends were all like getting into comic books and like all that stuff, you know? And we're like, "Yeah, let's make some shit. Let's make a fort.
Yeah.
You know, let's climb this mountain, dig holes and stuff and do stuff like that." And my parents, my mom was a school teacher forever, so she always had like, there's art supplies everywhere. And then my dad is like just an artistic dude. He would just build shit and paint. He'd always like he'd build me a boxcar, you know, like a soapbox car thing. But he'd always there'd always be something I'd come out and he'd like painted like a bobcat on it, you know, or like he painted like some crazy, you know, there was always something extra.
dope,
There was
yeah.
always something extra on it. Like I had a dirt bike and I'd come home and he'd like, "Oh, I tuned your bike," and then I'd go out there and like he painted flames on the tank, you know, and like he always
Yeah.
just did something like cool to it, you know?
So would you say you got your artistic genes from your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and my mom too, because they like I said, I think being a teacher, she always just did stuff, just constantly. Like, she was always like, and she was a Head Start teacher on the reservation, so like there's like just a ton of artwork in that culture, anyways. So she would be like, "All right, I made like treasure of a map for my kids for a project in the middle of the day." So she's like made this whole treasure map out of paper and all this shit, and then she'd be like, "They're staining it with coffee," and I would learn that she would do that, and I was like, "Oh, that looks way cooler." And that's something I still think about today. I go like, "Oh yeah, if you just stain that thing with coffee, it looks sick," you know?
Yeah.
It looks old or something.
Did your parents support you? Like, I see your pictures of your dad, and he looks like a big, burly biker dude.
Yeah,
you
he's
know
a
what I
big
mean?
dude, yeah.
And I always ask questions like, "Hey, man, like, what's your dad like?" You know what I mean? Because Jim's like the nicest guy. I've never heard him say anything bad about anybody. And you see him with his dad, and I'm like, "Man, that dude looks like he would fucking start some shit," you know?
I think he's the same as me.
Yeah.
He's just chill, real fun, real
Just a
loving.
gentle giant, huh?
Super loving, super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a good time guy. Yeah.
That's good, man. So when it
Smiley
came
guy. Yeah.
to growing up and you developing your artistry, did you get a lot of support from your dad and your mom?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, they were all about it.
What are the things that they would do to support or drive that hunger?
I mean, they would be like, just be like, "Oh, he's into drawing or something like that." They're like, "Yeah, just paint the side of the garage or something." Or, you know, my dad would be like, "Oh, you want to do that?" And like paint this freaking tank or something. Or like, my mom would be like, she knew I was into drawing. And she'd be like, "Well, you got time after school because I have to wait for her to get off." And she'd be like, "Just come in, the kids that are just hanging out, just draw with them for a while." And she'd be all psyched about that. And they'd always buy me, like, art supplies every year for whatever I wanted. It was always like around art, Everything was always like around art. Like, get me a little easel for my bedroom or something. It was always around that stuff. Yeah. And I was like trying to draw, like, I think at that time when I was little too, I was like, dude, I'm gonna do comic books. Like, this is cool, Like, I want to draw comics. And so, like, yeah, it was just all about comics and all that stuff.
Were you naturally talented from the beginning? I know some people who get into...
No way.
No, okay,
No,
so
yeah.
you had to go through it.
Yeah, dude. I
Okay.
think so. I think just tracing or like redrawing. I remember redrawing RoboCop, a gang, redrawing Ninja Turtles a ton.
Yeah.
Did you ever come up with any of your own comic books?
Yeah, dude. I think I still
Yeah.
have one that I
I'd
came
do
up
it.
with.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like
get a
little
title on
little
that
kid brain too. It's like I think I saw it not too long. It's in some of my stuff, but I saw it like and it was like it's like a character, but he's got like all the coolest powers of every character that's
Nice.
around. Like
Yeah.
he's like damn, this dude's got like Wolverine's claws. He's got fucking Spawn's cape. He's got like this freaking Magneto's jacket, whatever. Like all the it's like everything I could put into this guy was tight. I can't remember. I think his name was like Moon Shadow or something. Because I've always just like I'm like a night. I've always been like a night person. And like so like yeah.
One of the first stories I heard of you was when you were at Inkaholics.
Yeah.
And they said that you used to go paint abandoned buildings like monsters and creatures on abandoned buildings in the desert.
Yeah.
What inspired that? And do you still do that?
I did. So near my parents' house, like there's a long dirt road that goes to my parents' house, and there's like a wall. I don't know what it's for, but there's just a wall standing in the middle of the freaking desert out there, and it's like I don't even know. It's just a big wall, and it's just leaning kind of. It's been there for who knows how long. I don't know what it's there for, but I would go out there and paint that thing. Like I'd go home and visit, and I'd go like, I'm gonna go paint the wall real quick, and I'd go repaint it. And I kept doing it, and then I would paint, just running around randomly. I'd just go paint stuff because I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was like a graffiti artist. I was just like, it'd be cool if like there was like this weird thing. People were like, yeah, dude, there's like a weird monster over by the fucking river bottom, or like something like that. Some guy painted a freaking snake lady.
Yeah,
Like,
it is cool
you
to
know?
see
Are
that.
any of those still
Like,
up?
when
To your
you're
knowledge?
Huh?
Are any of those still up?
The one by my parents' house is I painted this big like fat jackalope.
Yeah.
And it's like takes up the entire wall. And it's like huge, and every once in a while, like someone, like one of my cousins or something that's going out to visit my family will send me a picture, like it's still holding strong, and I'm like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But it's like it's funny because you drive and it's like nothing but desert, but just about like half a football field out in the middle of nowhere, you just see this big ass fat jackalope just sitting out
what's
there.
that sucker doing there?
Yeah, because I'm like, that's what I think is cool. I go like, I don't know, it's like weird, like you're like, what's that dude doing out there, or like some weird imagine. I don't know, I guess all that stuff is like. You want to make a story in your brain about it without having anybody to tell you about it. You're like, damn, there's like a jackalope that lives out there. That's cool. Yeah.
You're an artist, a tattooer. You paint watercolor. You do oil.
Yeah.
How do you decide? Sometimes I'm like, man, I'm gonna stick to one thing because that's already enough. You know what I mean? What drives the oil? What drives the watercolor? What decides?
I think oil's my favorite. I think oil's the funnest for me for sure, but it takes like a long time,
Yeah.
And I think watercolor is just way more like immediate satisfaction for ideas to get down. And so I think I don't remember when it was, but at one point I was like, I gotta learn how to paint watercolors. Like they're just good, they're fun, they're not stressful. Like I'm just gonna do it, And so I just focused on doing those, and I didn't oil paint for a long time, and now it's kind of like a weird balance where like, because I could do oil like a watercolor painting in like a night or two, and an oil painting will take me like a week or two. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, they just got different facets to them. It just depends what I'm working on. Some things I go like, this shit's, I got this weird picture in my head. It's too crazy for like watercolor, And then the other things I'm like, this thing will be cooler if it's on like it's not oil, it's like watercolor, it'll look more illustrative.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, move up.
At the Oil and Ink show, I really dug the big one, the one of the night.
Yeah.
That was out. The unicorn was really cool too.
Yeah,
That
thanks.
was a bitchin' piece. Do you have a favorite piece in your home?
Ooh, good question.
Oh man.
Because so I'm gonna post a bunch of pictures of this artist's home, and it's everything you dreamed of. You got cool shit on the walls all over the place. You got retro shit. You got bitchin' vinyls. It's everything you would think in my mind. That's why I captured some photos of that.
Thanks, man.
But is you have any favorites?
A favorite?
Yeah, I know it's hard.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I almost like immediately like dislike them when I'm done. You know, I might like them for like a week, and I'll be like, that thing's cool, and then after that, I just like, I don't want to look at it anymore.
What
You know?
what is that? Is it you think the never content, or you just on to the next thing?
I almost think it's like, I don't know if it's never content. I go like, oh, that's cool, but now that it's done, it's kind of like it's done. You know, like the idea's done. Like I put emotion in the thing, it's done. Like that's out, and like and I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know what that is. I almost think the process of doing it is like the best part of it all. And then when it's done, it's kind of like, oh, it's like finishing a book. You're like, oh, I'm done with that story for now. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's cool. Because I think while I'll obsessively work on something. Like if I start something, like that's all I want to do until it's done. Like I gotta reach the finish. I gotta like see through that idea like to the end, you know? Mm-hmm. And like see it all, or just like a very unsatisfying feeling. Yeah. And yeah, so I mean there's pieces I like I still like that night one. I think that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fun one. I'm still happy with that. Like the unicorn one's cool, you know?
Your finish rate, like start to finish rate on paintings.
Like time-wise?
If you're gonna finish it at all, you know, everything you start, do you finish?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, that's one thing.
At least, you know?
That's kind of rare.
Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, even if I don't
rare,
like it,
man.
I just get it to a point where I'm like, there it is, you know?
I've talked to other artists, and you know, they'll start something, they'll leave it, they'll lose it, and then they'll come back for a few years. The reason I ask that is because I've never seen you not finish a piece that you started.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and not to say that there hasn't been like moments in the middle of all of them where it's frustration and I go like, I think I don't want to work on this thing anymore, but I'll come back, you know. Maybe I'm just like hitting like a weird block in it, but I think I finish everything, even if I don't like it, you know? Because I just gotta go. I don't know. I never know like where the next turn is gonna do. It's gonna like I might do something to it, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's tight, dude. Right. You know, and then I'm like re-energized on it, like that's cooler than I thought. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I think like obviously they can't see it in here, but like that Reaper dude riding the dragon. Yeah. Like that thing had probably a lot of moments where I was just like, fuck. Like I think all the black splatter stuff started out as an accident, and then I'm like, that's like part of my favorite thing on there, you know?
Yeah, little Bob Ross, happy mistakes and whatnot.
Yeah, just like a little thing, and it became like its whole thing now. And now like it was like, you know, it's like it's got its whole like I don't know, it's just got life in it, and that's kind of what I still enjoy that one.
When you're developing an idea or a concept, how long does that take you, and where does that come from?
Dude, either I have it like right away, or it's just like nothing's there, you know. Mm-hmm. So I gotta usually something sparks, then I'll be like, oh shit, I gotta freaking write that down or draw it up or sketch it up real quick, you know.
Mm-hmm. Do you try and theme your pieces, or is it just?
I've tried that. Yeah, I've tried to be on like a theme. But I think you just get in a rhythm of like, this is what I'm into right now. Mm-hmm. You know, like right now I'm all into like unicorns and Pegasuses because I think they're tight. And so it just inherently makes a theme, I guess. So so I don't know. I don't know if there's a theme. I just want it like, I guess the theme that I'd be like, as like, if you look at it and it looks like I did it, like that's a cool theme. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's cool. I don't want it to look like anybody else's thing or whatever, at least to myself. You know, I want to look at it and be like, I felt like I did that thing, you know?
The aspect I feel like I enjoy the most out of the art is it's culture rich, you know?
Yeah, cool.
It's dated, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it tells a story.
Yeah, that's what I like,
Yeah, they tell a story, and you always hide things in your, you know, you look at it, and you look at it 15 minutes later, you're like, oh shit, there's a naked chick right there. You know, she's like beautiful, you know? And so I've always enjoyed that. Yeah. Just because every time you look at it, you see something different. Yeah. Both of the things.
Especially that.
Yeah. On painting.
Yeah. Like, hidden in there.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
You've done a few album covers.
Yeah.
You were telling me, you were showing again, I'll post those pictures.
For famous people?
Like local metal stuff and hardcore and stuff, like things that I like, you know.
Yeah,
it has to be music that I like, you know.
Yeah, you did that jacket for
for Yellow Wolf.
For Yellow Wolf,
that was cool.
That shit was cool.
That was a cool one.
Right?
Yeah,
like, that's pressure.
That was cool, and that was like a roundabout. Like someone asked me, you know, to do that for him. So that was cool.
Have you sold any other your other pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of big paintings that aren't in here anymore that I got. They're all sold and gone. Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's kind of sad. It's kind of, even though I don't want to stare at them all the time, you know, like I kind of like, that's my thing, you know, and like, but I know like I know where they're all at, and it's kind of tight that they're being like they're being cherished over there. Where here, I probably would have just like tossed them in a stack in the back room. You know what I mean? So that I like that better.
Is it like a PCU? Like, do you wish that they go to a good home?
Yeah, for
like,
sure,
Like almost
man.
like something you'd have to give away.
Yeah, they got to be appreciated.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, there's a few like I've like given stuff away in like random like charity things. I'll grab a painting. I'll be like, all right, I'm just gonna give this to the charity thing, and I don't know where it went, and I think that's kind of weird to me, you know? Because I'm like, I don't know what that thing probably maybe got thrown away. That sucks, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did you go to art school?
I went to like a design school in Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that help out your career? Did it teach you a lot?
I don't know, man. You know, like I don't think it was a great experience. I mean, I went to it and it was a purpose for me to be in Phoenix, to be at that thing. But I think I learned a lot more from my time outside of school with like a new group of people and friends. And I think a lot of the people that went to that school were kind of similar to me, where they were like, you know, they wanted to be artists, and so this seemed like the right way to go. And so while we were in the school getting like real kind of beaten down for ideas, outside of it, everybody was still doing stuff. Like a bunch of my friends were like doing crazy graffiti stuff. A bunch of them were just like musicians and all this stuff, you know? Yeah, so I think I learned a lot while I was there, but I think in school I just remember a teacher going like, you're not here to be an artist, you're here to make money. And I was like, fuck this school, you know?
Yeah.
I remember calling my parents and being like, listen to what this fucking nerd said to me, you know?
Yeah.
So then, where was the gap? Describe Brian getting you, or Brian getting a hold of you.
Yeah.
Like, was that after? That was after school.
Yeah, so I had moved here to California, and I hadn't been here very long.
Okay.
I had moved here, and I had just immediately made a few friends through like skateboarding and working. I worked next to Zach, and in the off the wall complex, and there was like a store down the way that had my buddy's wife at the time worked there, and he worked as a piercer in that shop. And then my buddy that was a musician that was in a band with me also worked in that shop as a piercer. And so they were kind of like, hey, dude, like you need people. Like there's this guy Jim we know, and like this and that. And so I went in there actually, and I got tattooed. I did that thing. I went in there, I got a tattoo from a guy, and then just to kind of show a little face time. And then I started like they were like, well, just keep coming with us. And so I kept going. And I brought like at one point Brian was like, all right, I'm open to like seeing what this guy's all about. And so he asked me to bring some drawings, and I brought some like probably terrible drawings, and he ripped them apart. But he was like, all right, we might be able to work with something, you know? Because he was like, you're already, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, you're already kind of fucking around with tattooing, and like I don't want that to continue either, you know?
So he was tough on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Oh yeah. It was good, but a good tough, you know?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff. Now I look back and I go, yeah, he was right, you know? My waves were trash.
Man.
These flames were trash. All this shit was trash, you know?
Looking at an old portfolio is very humbling.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
get it.
Man, I thought that shit was tight.
Dude,
and
big
it's like
time.
garbage, you know?
Yeah,
I was
you're
doing that
like,
a little bit the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was good. It was good. And then after that, I just stuck and hung. It worked, you know?
Who'd you learn right in the beginning? Who'd you learn the most from?
Probably from Brian a bunch. And then there were guys, like I still had friends that were tattooers in other places. Like my buddy Damien tattooed in Orange County area, and like we were still talking. He tattooed me a bunch, and I liked his tattoos a lot. And then we had this guy Groovy that worked there, who was like got real tight with, and like he was a fucking cool he was like an old tattooer, but not even that old. He just seemed like he was like he just wanted to show up, do some tattoos. He didn't want to draw outside the shop. He just wanted to show up, do some tattoos, and go back to his family. He was kind of like a NASCAR dude, but he was like. He had sleeves since he was like 14.
Yeah.
You know, he was like he was always like.
That's tight.
Yeah,
He's a hard ass dude.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
he'd always be like, we bonded on a lot of like metal music stuff, but he was be like, he's like, I'm not like a metal, I'm a death rocker, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
Oh yeah, you
but
made
he'd
that delineation right there. Yeah.
But he'd always see me doing like all this, like see me do like too much shit, you know, being like, I'm gonna fucking put purple on the outside of this thing, and he'd be like, don't do that, dude.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be like, check it out, I'll do this whole, and he would be like, I'm gonna do this whole dragon with just one thing of ink cap out, just black. He's like, I'll just gonna be full black and gray, and he'd do it, and it was like incredible.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, damn, there's some like subtleties to this craft that are tight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I learned a lot watching him. Yeah.
That's cool, man. I saw, is Groovy the picture
With the fireman hat?
with the fireman hat?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Elizabeth Street, you go ask about the picture, like, who's that?
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
Groovy.
It's like a school picture, and
Yeah.
he's got like a kid's fire hat on. It's
Yeah.
a dope ass picture.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
Do you have those pictures of Nordic Dave?
That's what I was just gonna ask you. Yeah.
Oh, I have the gun one here.
Yeah. Okay. So we
I heard the
definitely
whole
got to
story.
see
Yeah, I'll
that.
show
one.
you guys
It was
that one.
pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I'll
were
show you
talking
guys
about
that
it at the art show.
But
Yeah. Right.
for everyone that didn't get that story though, can you summarize that story? Because
of him. I don't know. He's got that picture has been around town for a lot of years, and so he was just getting recognized all the time as this like big gnarly dude with like a bed of guns. I think it's basically it's him sitting in a bedroom. I think it's his bedroom. It's not it's not like the tidiest looking joint, but it's got like 4-wheel magazine on the floor and and then there's about 30 guns, like rifles and everything, like everywhere, and he's wearing like a Coors shirt with no fucking shoes on.
Yeah.
It's like the whole
very
thing is like a
gritty.
time,
Yeah.
And he said he would just get recognized all over town with that thing. But
And
then
he's-
there's not that many. It's like 7-foot tall dudes.
That's what I was
You
gonna
know?
say. He's also a
you're
giant.
gonna get recognized regardless.
Yeah.
With a ZZ Top beard. You
Yeah.
got the big old beard.
yeah, he was trying to play it off
I
like
don't
he
even
just
talk to
fits
white
in.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
I
I don't
I'm
fit
like,
in.
I'm over here, bro. If your shit is past here and super white, or you got a fucking white do rag
Yeah.
on, I'm gonna keep it pushing. Like,
Yeah.
we don't need to have a conversation. You
Yeah.
like you gonna yell some shit at me. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that guy. Don't know I'm a fuck up.
Yeah, he's a freaking giant, man.
Yeah, but he's the sweetest guy ever.
Yeah, super
Yeah,
nice
he
guy.
He's the sweetest guy
Yeah.
ever. That's the part that,
Yeah.
people have probably tried to chop that tree down many a times.
Dude,
and he
I
probably
think,
fucks
yeah.
their head up because
Yeah.
he's like very solid and a
Yeah.
clear thinker.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
he's
it's
got a
funny
great
when you
personality
see
and shit.
pictures like that, like that's funny.
But if you see him like on the street, you're like, oh shit, like, that guy looks like he kills people.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like,
100%.
that dude just duck into the room, like under the door jam? Like, what
Right.
the fuck?
Right. And he doesn't necessarily smile unless he knows you too. I got that first too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, that guy's
Do I
tight.
want to know this guy?
That dude, it's
Yeah,
funny
I
because
wanna know this
that
guy.
dude's been getting tattooed by me for a long time, and it's always been the same. He's just a big, gentle dude that's tight,
As far as painting and watercoloring or artistry and stuff, I prefer
Yeah.
your paintings, your watercolor painting, or no, your oil paintings because
Cool.
of the layering.
Yeah.
I like the stain and the tones that, and the finish and the varnish.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And the after effect.
Yeah.
I feel like I get more of the artist through oil painting. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah, I
it's-
think so, man.
Yeah.
I think so.
You paint very fast on watercolor.
Yeah.
Jim I used to fucking be painting watercolor pissed off. I'm like, Jim, help me out. He'd come over and just 2 minutes, bro, just bow, 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 just do like that. And I'd be like, I would try it and it just wouldn't go down. I still try some of the styles and
Yeah.
develop it, but it just doesn't fit with my niche. Your style is very loose.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I try to balance that out because sometimes I don't like how loose it is either. I go like, okay, we can probably tighten this up a little bit,
Yeah.
How would you describe your tattooing style? Because I asked Brendan, I go, what genre, what style does he fit in? He's like, he fits in the gym style. It's like there's no explaining it. Where do those roots come from?
God, dude, I don't even know, man, because I don't know. I mean, everything's traditional based. I just like outlines and feel, if it's got outlines, I like it. But I like stuff to be illustrated. And then sometimes I get like a real weirdo and I start like doing weird details, like my paintings.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, I don't even know, man. It's hard to say what exactly it is because I like so much from every different genre. Like I like so much Japanese stuff. I like so much traditional stuff. I like this, Sometimes I'm like, oh, dude, that dude just painted that whole skull yellow. Like that is tight,
Yeah.
Like weird stuff.
How do you feel about like psychedelic art and stuff like that? Have you ever done a painting like on mushrooms and to see if there's a different result?
I think I smoked weed and freaking painted before, but not
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Nah, if I'm eating mushrooms, dude, I'm like on an adventure, baby.
Yeah, I ain't
you know what I
trying
mean?
to
I ain't trying to sit
Yeah.
down and paint and let
Yeah.
alone sit down for 2 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
no, dude, I'm in a wetsuit. I'm working in the street. I'm like
Yeah.
trying to get my buddy. Hey, buddy, let's go.
Right. Right. Okay.
You have a pretty cool little buddy here, your dog.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, she's the best.
She goes with you everywhere?
Yeah, if I can take her, she goes with. Yeah,
I take that, yeah.
yeah, she's the jam.
Right on. One
Yeah,
of the
man.
things that really I enjoy is that you're into motorcycles.
Yeah.
You're into motorcycles too. He rides the chopper.
sir.
You have an aesthetic about you. Have you ever wore the shoes I bought you, those fucking Nikes?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, cool. Cause
Yeah, hell yeah.
I was trying to gift my boys all the time. If I'm getting a discount on the shit, and I just swear to God, like I gave it to them.
Yeah.
I gave them a bootleg Bobby Bonds jersey.
I still have that
from
too.
the
The
Hubby.
big stuff. Yeah.
That shit is tight. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Jim, this is your shit.
Yeah.
Didn't ask for it. I'm like, yeah, this is you, dog. This is you. He's like, all right, B.
It's because you know, dude. There was like I don't know if Mike remembers because he always kind of clowns me on it, but there was like I went through like a phase where I was like, yeah, jerseys and headbands, dude. This is my shit right now, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fucking rock and roll, like.
He came in the Nelly version. And
Yeah,
shit.
like
Air
a
Force
Nelly.
One.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, I was like early 2000s, Jim, or what?
I guess so,
yeah.
man. I don't know. I forget. In my mind, I was like, this is some like rock and roll shit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Right here.
As you refine, as you get older,
Yeah.
within tattooing, within art, do you feel yourself shifting? And
Yeah.
How so?
Big time. I think I want to do more stuff that I'm like, I'm trying to get to where I'm like I was saying, I don't like stuff like that often. Like I'm trying to do more stuff that I'm like, feels timeless to me maybe, and not just like bullshit, because I think the paintings that I don't like a lot of times are stuff where I just did it, for the sake of painting and like going through the motions. So I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna sit down, I want to do something that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what I was doing at that time and why I painted that and why it's like I felt that way or whatever, or what freaking crazy idea in my head. Because most of the time, I mean, forever, most of the time it's like I'm trying to live it. I'm trying to build this like fantasy world where if you look at it, you're like, what fucking book is that from, dude? Or like, what, is that this or something? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't want it to describe it. I want you to like make it up in your own head. And so I want to do stuff like that where you can look at it and be like, oh, dude, I kind of have this weird idea of where this might be from, and it's timeless and all that stuff, Mm-hmm. Stuff that I'm kind of like, I'm proud of.
Have you gotten any inspirations from anything you've read, or have you tried to match anything? Because I was a big reader too growing up, reading all the J.R. Tolkien and everybody, and those fantasy worlds. You try to imagine it. Did you ever get inspiration from that?
Yeah, man, all that stuff. Like I loved all that stuff. I was never like a. I mean, I appreciate like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, but I liked like some like Conan the Barbarian or like Beastmaster or like Mad Max. Like they're like dirty, but they have like weapons and they have like armor, but they're like there's still like romance and like shit like that, or like vampire stuff. Like this kind of gritty, like dark stuff that I think that's what all like inspires all of it.
Yeah.
Is this like imaginary world of like gritty, dark, like all that stuff. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
To me, and and I don't want it to be from anything in specific. I just want you to be like that unicorn I painted. I don't know. You could be like, damn, that's like maybe that's this character's freaking riot or something like that, or like whatever,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think like doing stuff like that to where it's like purposely done ideas that I can look at and be like, yeah, that's cool. I might look at that, or I'd be psyched if someone wanted to use that for something or something like that.
When you're developing these pieces with the more detailed piece and you're hiding these gems,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Hey, you see me, guys? You know what I'm saying? You're hiding these gems in there. Is it what fills the space? Is it what feels good? Or is it what develops
I remember,
story?
I know what
Hey,
you're
come on now.
referring to.
Come on now.
Just do what feels good, man.
Right,
You
just
gotta
do what feels good.
Hey, what's your heart say, baby?
Oh, so you did pick up on that. That surprised me how much that got under his skin.
That's my
With
my
the-
teaching method.
Yeah.
Dude. I go, just let it.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
They just do what feels good. And you know what? It works all the time. Well, maybe not to hear it, but for
But
me
not
it
all
works.
the time.
Yeah.
Not all the
Yeah,
time. There's been days where I'm just like, yeah, that tattoo is just that tattoo.
Well,
know?
I go like, if you look at it and you're going to do something and it feels good for a reason, it must be like somewhat right to put in there.
But from
Or
your point of
something.
view, did you like doing that? Did you like firing him up a little bit?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
do you
the
think that
best.
drove his
Oh, yeah.
passion?
It's like one of
I
my
thought- yeah, I-
favorite pastimes.
I think so too. I tried pissing him off on purpose.
Since
friends,
we're here,
man, it's
since
shit.
we're here, I was a little bit fucking worried because you're one of the people that could still fuck me up a little bit if I don't know if you're serious or if you're joking or whatever. The
It's
other
a
day he
long
called
game,
me,
dude.
The other day he called me skinny, and then I had called him skinny the day before the other time, and I was like, did he just fucking do that? because I fucking told him he was skinny. He fucking fucks
he
with
mime
me,
a bird.
dude.
Yeah.
And then he'll tell me his jokes and shit like that. And sometimes I'll get him, and sometimes I won't. And I want to laugh, you know what I mean? But then he'll just laugh at me. In the sweetest ways.
That's the best, dude. It's silly. You build it.
But that's kind of what it is with these guys. Zach, Mike, Jim, Brian. Depending on what the fuck the mood is, man, you might not get a straight answer the whole fucking day. You know what I mean?
It's so fun. It is so fun to make fun of your friends, though. It's like the best fucking thing.
It makes the day go by faster,
it's like,
too.
you know, if there's ever like a warm, fuzzy feeling in my stomach, it's when I'm like razzing on my buddy and I'm like, yes.
So that makes sense.
And then you see something there, like a twinge in their eye, and they're like, this motherfucker just said that shit. And I'm like, yeah, that's the road I need to go down. This is good.
Keep on poking.
Yeah.
It works out. You know, I've never heard you say anything bad, but you definitely talk shit, and you get away with it. Mike's always talking about how he gets fucking castrated for the shit he says to his clients.
Yeah.
And this fool could say way worse shit, and they're just like, oh, it's fucking Jim. You know, and I'm just like,
Just how
what
he
the
is.
fuck?
Yeah.
And, you know, some people, it only works for some. You know what I mean? I can't do that shit.
Yeah.
He'll check me too, but he's got that thing. And, dude, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know what just happened right now.
You know,
like, was he clowning? Was he talking shit? Like,
in a loving way. It's
in a
because I
loving
care,
way.
dude. Yeah.
Right. I'm like, am I skinny, cuz? Like, do I need to lift a little bit?
Nah, you slimmed up. It's good, dude.
Slimmed up is good.
Have you enjoyed? I mean, you've stayed here a long time. Have you enjoyed working here the most?
Yeah, I mean,
And
I like
Elizabeth
this.
Street?
I like being around this area. I
Yeah.
think that's nice, you know?
You hella loyal.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm pretty good. I mean, it works, you know? I mean, and it's nice to kind of go out and this is a nice base right now for like being able to go to other places and tattoo for a little bit. And of course, other places I go like, yeah, I can make that work. But something about that, I don't know. There's just a lot of people here that I care about, and it's fun to tattoo with your friends and like, you know, your clients are always become like kind of buddies too, and it's tight because they let you. The more they trust you, the more you get to do like weird stuff. It's tight,
I mean, you're kind of fucking famous around here too, though, bro.
Get out of here.
I'm just saying, in the tattoo world we live in, you could be all humble all you want, but everybody knows who the fuck you are.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Riverside need to give you a wall. They need to give you a wall so you could get up on give a real mural. Riverside County, you guys are slipping by
That
not
would be
having,
tight, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
man.
We might be able to get this started.
I'm
We're
saying,
getting enough people
that's
rolling.
how it starts.
Get a petition.
Can we apply a little pressure,
Yeah.
please? You know,
Little
'cause-
pressure.
Yeah, I see. They're beautiful. I love the murals that are going up.
Yeah,
you
there's
know
a lot
what I
of good
mean?
ones, yeah. Big time.
But my guy Jim over here was good. He will offer you something different. It'd be a showstopper. Just let him do his thing.
I'll be like,
know?
you like Vikings?
Oh, wow,
That'd be sick,
dedicated.
though.
You like Vikings? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, why does that dragon have udders? And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
It
like,
just
it's cool,
sounds
right?
cool.
I don't know. You're painting at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Get you, back off. Yeah.
They're like, this wall's been making progress. We didn't never see him though.
Yeah, we did.
He shows up at night.
How do you feel about abstract art?
I don't know, man. You know,
I thought that's finally something he doesn't like. That's,
I don't know.
I've never seen him be like, oh, this is abstract. Everything is like, no, that's a
Yeah.
fucking that. That's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, this
you
is
know-
my interpretation of a drop.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. Sometimes I go like, there's times where I get, and I've seen abstract art that I like, but then there's times where I'm like, yeah, you're just fucking phoning it in, dude. Like, I just don't see any life in a lot of that stuff, you know, where I'm just like, and maybe I'm just not tapping into that part of the world, but like, of that art stuff, which is fine. But I don't know, if like a piece of art that someone's doing doesn't have they're not putting any life into it, I just go like, eh.
Yeah.
I feel like you could feel it, you know, like there's nothing in it. It's just empty, you know?
Just like food.
Yeah, just like food.
Put some love in it.
That's
you know,
right,
don't
yeah.
just make me no sober sandwich, no pity sandwich. I want some love sandwiches. You
Toasted
feel me?
bread.
Shit.
Love sandwich.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. I just had a big
Name of this
conversation with bro
podcast,
about
Love
this shit.
Sandwich.
You know, maybe I'm gay. You feel me? Maybe it's a nigga over there making the sandwiches.
Dude, we
cuz.
finally
You
did
feel
it.
me? Like,
Zach,
damn
you
it.
owe me $10.
Yeah. You feel me? So, yeah. Who's to say that that's a woman making that sandwich, goddammit?
Yeah. Yeah, you ever got a sandwich made by one of your buddies? Jesus.
Dude.
Yeah, they put the
dude.
love into it
You
every
wanna
time.
fucking hold
Wait,
hands
yeah.
through the mall, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
I just got off a big conversation with my brother. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, you kind of straddling the line a little bit. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be better, but I'm trying to be authentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey man, like
That's good. Yeah.
come get me, bro. Like what you gonna take from me? You know,
Yeah.
like come pick it and all of that shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
Niggas gotta eat, bro.
Yeah. Brandon's hand is on my knee right now, just so everybody knows.
You're right, yeah.
Well, we're trying to rewrite the narrative.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
A lot of people have been saying he's harsh.
Yeah.
Like he comes off real tough.
Right.
Real, yeah.
Welcome to season 2 of
But I always-
Sandwich.
I don't tell him that part.
Can we put it like, oh man, we're gonna have to push that a little bit. We definitely gonna have to mess with that one a little bit. I like it.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I love all the women out there. You know what I'm saying? Back to the art. What were we just touching on? We were talking about abstract
Oh,
art.
abstract art. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I don't know. If there's feeling behind it, I think you can tell. It's cool, you know?
Yeah.
There's some cool
Do you
stuff.
have a favorite artist that you
That does like abstract stuff?
know?
Or that just
Just
does
in general.
In general?
Yeah.
Dude, I think, Frazetta for sure is one of my favorite. Boris Vallejo's, I think, is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also like tattooers that I really love. Love Eccles tattooing and paintings. Love Chris Kahn's stuff, which I think is like pretty across the board amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, there's so much good stuff. But I think those are, you know what the thing that commonality of all those pieces, all those painters too, is all their pieces look like they're from something. You know, they're from some story or something, and it's tight.
Do you think there's a point where an artist can study too much? The internet is full of places that
Yeah.
you wouldn't, you see more art in one day than you would see in a lifetime
Yeah.
because of the internet now.
Yeah, you got to be careful how much you take in, and you got to be careful like what you put in your brain. Yeah, I think. I don't know if you could study too much. I just think it's like how much do you like take and apply as opposed to just learning. You know what I mean? Because you can take stuff and then you just you just kind of cut yourself off from a lot of freedoms of stuff. That's why like someone that's never seen any art is making something like that shit's completely original and probably kind of interesting, you know? As opposed to someone that's like just pulling from all these facets of things where they're like, this is how you're supposed to do this is how you're supposed to do this. And you're like, dude, you're kind of fucking not leaving room for just like creativity or doing something weird and wild and like.
Putting too many rules on it.
Yeah, you put too many
Yeah.
rules on it, and you're which is, I get it. Rules are important for a lot of things too, but like, you gotta make like the imagination part like just as important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do weird shit. Who fucking cares? Everybody wants boring artwork in their house if they're gonna buy it. Like, do something weird. It's cool. So like, yeah, I think you can. I think that I don't know. I like learning shit all the time too, you know. But I'll read books about like techniques and stuff like that too. But I got to take them with a grain of salt. I go, you know what? This is like a problem that I had. Like I can't figure out how to make this color do this thing. So I'll learn that, and I'll probably learn some other things. But then I'll be like, well, if that color does that shit, what if I just fucking spread that shit over here too? You know? And then something weird happens, and you're like, oh, that's tight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you'll experiment through your paintings,
Yeah.
and then if it works out in the painting, you bring it to a tattoo?
I think it could transfer. I'm a lot less like willing to do that now because I want tattoos that are like just gonna be like last, you know, and look good forever. I think I've seen too many that I've done where I did some experimenting and I feel like I was like, it probably looked cool then, but it was probably wasted work. I should have just like made it clean and nice and like good looking, you know?
Yeah. Your tones have changed a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Less shading, more open space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
they're
that.
breathing
Yeah.
but they're still super strong. They're
Yeah.
still dramatic and.
Yeah, I like the drama, you know? Especially if with colors, like if I'm gonna do colors, I want them to be like toned down vintage colors. I don't necessarily want anything super bright.
Sometimes when I paint as if the painting is going to heal.
Yeah.
You know, with the mindset, it's
that's
just like,
fair.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, my lines are too close. I don't necessarily like that because I feel like that's controlling my artistic, like, knowledge and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, when you're painting, like that's supposed to be fun. You know what
It's
I mean?
supposed to be.
It's supposed to be fun. You know, like you're supposed to just like have fun.
Has anyone ever conscripted you? Like, have you gotten the subject matter before painting anything, or that's just solely with tattoo? Or even with tattooing, does that?
No, I definitely have. I've definitely done commission stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know if I enjoy it like a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of go like, this is kind of like my sacred little thing that I'll do, you know?
Yeah.
And I like the ideas and working them out and stuff like that. Whereas like tattooing, you know, like you work pretty much getting commission all the time. Even if it's something where they're like, I just want something for you to draw something, like it's still a commission because you gotta be like, because even, you know, I'll have people be like, they're like, dude, I have this space, just fill it in with something cool, and I'll have to be like, well, what I think is cool, you might not think is very cool.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, that is a very weird gray area for artists. I find that when people seek me out to do commissions or certain things and they're very like structured or I do not approach it with the same vigor, you know, or get the same feeling of accomplishment when it's done. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah, it's got to be, that's a cool thing that you get to, that happens. Like if someone, you know, asks you to just fill a spot with something you think is cool, that's like, dude, that's awesome. Like I love that. But I always have to kind of figure out a direction. I'll be like, well, what do you don't like skulls? You like eyeballs? You know, like this is that. And so you have to kind of like, okay, I got to take this stuff off the plate, and then I got to think about like, well, this person does this, and this person's like this. This is a family person, you know, like I got to, you know. So it's kind of, it turns into like commission, but you got to tailor even the open idea to the person. It can't just be off the wall, unless they're just picking something from my book, and that's cool.
One thing I do approaching a client where I'm trying to decide a tattoo for them is I do intel. Yeah. I go through their Facebook, I go through their Instagram, I look how they dress, you know what I mean, when they're dressed up, and I look how they're dressed down. I look what they put on Instagram. Nobody ever wants to put a shitty picture on Instagram, right? They're only showing their best. And literally it's a magazine for their life. Yeah. So I'll go through that and be like, all right, you know, I can't, you know, this guy wants a lion with blue eyes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like with you know, or I can't put that, I can't give that to Nordic Dave. Right. Yeah. Right? I can't give that to Nordic Dave. He's going to be like, yeah, I told you to do your thing. Yeah. But what the fuck? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
That's when you go, you want a lion with blue eyes? How about a lion with lightning eyes?
Yeah, right.
Breathing fire. That sounds tight, dude.
Right. Yeah, you recently did a piece. I got gifted from my lady. She bought a mirror. And he did a cyborg panther.
Yeah, that big
fucking sick. He knows I like panthers, you feel me? And he just killed it. We got to tattoo it. We got to tattoo it.
Yeah, I'd like to tattoo that thing. I think it's cool.
It's a must. Yeah. It'll be like my third, fourth panther, but whatever.
Yeah,
you know
your first cyborg.
I mean, who's counting? You know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I got to get a robot. I'm getting a robot next for my boy. What you getting tattooed next?
I don't have anything in the line. I don't know. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I mean, I gotta go in waves, like when I feel like getting tattooed. But I'm sure I'll figure something out next.
Do you have a favorite piece on you?
I mean, I have like my sister's names on me.
I really that means a lot.
Zach did,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those a lot. I think
those
are cool.
He's so sweet.
Hey, that's my
so fucking sweet. This
crew,
guy,
you know?
Yeah. you do have a tight knit family. You guys are still very tight. How does that happen? You know,
dude. I think that happens just living in the middle of nowhere, out in the desert, and that's like we had to be each other's best friends. You know? Yeah. Because it was like we're all hanging out together all the time.
You got all that arguing out.
You get the arguing and then the fun times, and then that just builds that bond, and it's like tight. You know? Yeah. And we're all different, but they're all like, you know, there's a lot of similarities. So I think we're just tight.
You recently took a trip to, was it Italy?
Yeah.
Italy. That looked cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
It looked inspiring. That was one of the things I saw you going to the museums. And what did you take home from that trip? Tell me about it.
Dude, I don't know, man. I thought I was going to, you know, obviously I took a bunch of pictures of stuff, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm going to find all this cool shit for reference, which I have a lot of cool stuff. But fuck, man, as much as I was like, the first couple of days, I was like, I gotta take photos of everything I think is cool, you know, and maybe I can take this into tattooing or painting or something. And then I just caught myself like not taking photos and just kind of being like, because I was kind of walking around with like my mouth open, just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And then the more shit you just learn, like, the more you're just like walking around like, dude, this is crazy. I don't want to have my phone out. And then I'm like there's a point where we're like, walking over a bridge. I went with one of my really good buddies, and we're walking over a bridge, and I was walking over ahead, like over one of the canals, and I was walking in, and he's like, hey, Jimmy, come back here. And he's like, come here, check this out. And he points out like a little plaque, like the size of a business card, like tiny, just on one of the walls. And then there's like a little walkway to a door. And it just says, this is Beethoven's house. Like, no big deal, you know? And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we're walking in the shadows of giants, you know? Like, in every turn, I just was like, dude, these streets have like gone unchanged through all that time. and we're just walking in them right now. Like, that's pretty crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's the messed up part about over here, you know?
Yeah, they just wiping all that shit away.
Right, and they doing it in stucco so they can wipe it away faster.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly,
mean?
yeah.
It's like, dang, man, they don't build things to last or with architectural intent anymore.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I feel like you're walking around there, you could just feel like the vibrations and everything. You know, like everything was just vibrating. Like even some of like the basilicas we went into, you're just like, man, some shit went down in here, boy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, look at this freaking ground is all jacked up. Like,
Yeah.
Well, what did that? You know? Yeah.
Did you draw? Did you sketch or do anything out there?
I started some sketches on my way out there,
Yeah.
and then no, I just walked around, man.
You went out at night too. It looked like vampires.
Yeah, I was looking for vampires, dude. I was looking for. I was
Yeah.
dressing sexy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Trying to get bit.
Yeah, man. Watch out.
In Italy.
Yeah.
Looking for vampires.
Oh, dude. There was
You
like,
put some-
because
some
all the
bad
alleyways
ones.
are tight and foggy.
Yeah.
And it's like Vampire City. Well, that's what I thought. I
Yeah.
don't know. While I was there, I
Yeah.
Googled. I did end up Googling. I said vampire sightings in Italy, in Venice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was nothing on there, just like
Nah.
stories. But I was like,
Ah.
there was like, I'd go out at night and just walk around like the alleys by myself. And like, there was always like an old dude standing by a dock. And I was like, that's a fucking ghost.
I felt the
You
same
know?
thing about Romania. I went
Yeah.
through Romania quite a few times. We had a base out there. It was always something. I was like, something's gonna jump out, and it's gonna be here in this crazy country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Because it's like, you know what it is the like,
history
all
of it.
the history and all the old like fiction books that like I draw like a lot of inspiration from.
Yeah.
Like those are the backdrops. You know what I mean? So like
Oh,
when
yeah,
I'm,
right,
when I'm
the
thinking
castles,
about
everything,
yeah,
yeah.
when I'm thinking about like a vampire story or a painting for a vampire, like I'm picturing that street I was standing in.
Yeah.
And that's from a book or like it looks like Frankenstein or some crazy shit. And it was like, yeah, that's cool, dude. Creepy.
Yeah.
And if you get bit, you bit, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where else would you like to travel to? You know, for art.
For art,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to go to Australia, be tight.
There we go.
Yeah, Australia would be tight. I don't know. There's a lot of places I think I'd like to go to. Norway would be cool. Japan would be sick. I think I'd have to do it right, you know, because I don't think I want to be in the middle of all the hustle and bustle. I just want to be in like the cool stuff, you know, like the kind of more outskirtsy stuff. But dude, honestly, there's like, any of those places, anywhere, I'll be like, yeah, let's go.
I
there.
mean, they all sounded good,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, let me know.
Anywhere you tell me, I
know?
go. Let's go. That sounds
Yeah,
good. I like
that's
that.
dope.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy too. Like you get me there, I might put up a fight, you know, trying to get there, but you get me there, and I'm like, I'll have a good time.
You like to travel?
Yeah,
You like to see, check out towns and whatnot?
Yeah,
You guys
I like
always
it.
do the Philly convention, huh?
yeah, that's a fun one. The Philly's tight, dude. That's a crazy place. It's a cool place.
Is that your favorite convention?
I think that was the best city I think we went to. That convention was cool. It was super big, and I tattooed a lot, and I sold a lot of paintings. But I think walking around the city was like the coolest because it's the same thing as that stuff. Those
That
cities,
culture.
Yeah, it's like cobblestone streets and like
I feel the East Coast has that slight advantage over the West Coast.
Yeah.
Is the older stuff.
that's
They still have intact.
that's the thing I think I noticed over there because I think that might have been the oldest USA city I've been in, you know, and that was one of the ones where I was like, oh, this is a shit's like way older than anything that's around us back on this side of the coast, you know.
I got a question that's totally off basis, but towards the art side of things. Do you ever draw at a emotion rather than a subject?
Yeah.
Like
I think they're all nestled in some type of emotion for sure. I think that goes hand in hand, you know.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
do you allow the emotion to evolve within the piece, or it's like, nah, this needs to feel this way?
Yeah, I think it always needs to feel like something. Like if I draw something and I don't feel like it's kind of conveying any type of emotion, whatever it is, like I think those are the ones where I'm just like, that's not it. That ain't it. Like something's off about this thing. It feels weird, you know. Like, and whether it be like there's no drama in it to create this thing, you know, like or whatever. Like there's always got to be some type of emotion in it.
But you still finish them because you say you never really or do
If
you,
I start a painting, I will. But I'll do sketches.
you do sketches
Yeah, I'll do rough
and you'll
sketches.
scrap those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll do rough sketches, and usually by in the first like iteration of a sketch, if it's usually super loose, I'll know like, oh, that's the direction I need to go in, and then I just trust myself that I know like I'll figure everything else out as it goes, but like if I can see that emotion in like the initial rough sketch, then I go like, that's it, you know? I was talking to my buddy Dave Richardson the other night about that. Because there's I'll show you guys, but the initial sketch of that unicorn is underneath there right there. Mm-hmm. And it's super loose and it's super like, there's no details, nothing in it, you know? But I almost go like, that might be like the best step, you know? Because that's almost the hardest hurdle. Like after you get the direction going, then I can be like, then I just start going nuts and I freaking draw it and I trip out on all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like getting that drawing with emotion in it. And I try to do it for not only my paintings, but for tattoos too, you know? Because I'm like, you know, yeah, you're just going to put a rose on somebody, but like, why can't these leaves look like dramatic and like feel like something, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like something cool or weird or, you know?
Yeah, one of the things I think is cool is that you use a lot of color, but your shit is never cartoony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and then you're using the color to develop the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I enjoy that aspect of the art.
Yeah, even when I go like
I
nuts with colors, I go like, oh, because there's definitely pieces I'll look back and I'm like, that's weird that I used that color. I won't even remember sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
I'll just be like, that's crazy that I did that. But I also think I'm kind of crazy. You know?
I feel like everybody has to have a different mindset to do what it is that we do. Because, I mean, we could all just go get a regular job and like, but what fun is that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fun, dude.
It's not that fun.
I'm ruined for regular work now. There's no way. There's no way, dude.
Have you ever had any regular jobs? Or like, what's one did you really
The most,
remember?
I've had a lot, you know, before Illo, I did start tattooing pretty young.
Yeah.
I had a gang of jobs before then.
Hey,
And I got fired a few times.
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I worked at Circle K. I did plumbing.
Circle K.
I know, I did plumbing. I worked at La Beta urethane shop when I first moved to California, which was pouring urethane for, what was that, ATM click, stuff like that, like skate wheels and rollerblade wheels.
Is it
I worked at a gang of stuff, but I don't stick around when I just don't like it. I go like, and I think I did a detailing for a while, but I think my mom was always like, I remember when I was working at a detail shop when I still lived back home, when I was a teenager, and like, I was like, Mom, this fucking guy, my boss at the time, he's got Harry, he's a dick. And I was like, he's fucking razzing me. And he was razzing me because I didn't have a license, you know? And he was like, because I lost it, but he was razzing me, and I was like, dude, I fucking hate this guy, Mom. And she's like, do you like working there? I was like, nah. And so the next day I went in, he was like, Jim, come here, fucking guy. And he's like, I just don't even feel like you want to work here, dude. And I was like, I don't. You know, and then, and he was like, you just see him just like, wait, my freaking thing kind of backfired on me. And then my buddy that I went to Italy with was with me, and he was like, yeah, I don't want to work here either. We just left.
You guys both quit the same day?
We're just like, let's go skate.
Okay, so, I mean, you are, for everyone listening, you're a nice dude, man.
Thanks, man.
Even like, you were really genuine to me the first time
Cool.
because I knew of you.
Yeah.
But I'd never been introduced to you.
Yeah.
So you came off amazing. But
Thanks, man.
do you have a temper? Or is it just that you get agitated and then bounce?
No, I got a temper. I think it just takes a lot to get there.
It's buried in
I
there?
just choose my like fights wisely.
Yeah, this guy, he's
you know,
mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my temper.
Compared to us, he's very
I
mellow.
almost think like I don't necessarily like lash out like temper wise very easily.
Okay.
But like I'll lash out and I'll just say something mean or something or hurt someone's feelings or something, you know, and just be like calm about it. 'Cause that's like it just feels better to me if I just go like
More methodical with
boom,
it. Yeah.
bye, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It takes a lot for me to get mad. Thanks, dude.
You don't like confrontation, though. You don't like negative shit.
I think I've gotten better at that for sure. You know what it is? It's like I don't mind confrontation. It's just like I just think that there's like real I think there's ways to handle it without being like over the top. You know what I mean? Like I'll confront. We can talk about whatever you want, but I'll probably want to talk about it calmly. And then if it gets crazy, I'll just be like, this is getting. There's no information going when emotions are high. Like, fucking step back in later. You know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because I'm like, let's get the information done. Let's move on to the having fun again. I just want to have fun, be silly.
That's really that. That's really. Have you always been like that? Have you been emotionally in tune like that?
I think so. I grew up with a gang of girls, dude.
How many sisters do you have?
3.
Oh, so I have 4 sisters.
Oh,
I beat
yeah,
you by
there you
1.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I get that.
Yeah.
Maybe that is something.
It might have been, you know, and
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, so it was like.
Yeah, you had to listen to them.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
with
listen to
my
my sisters.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, but I had a temper.
Yeah.
So I fought them a lot.
Well, I had a temper then
Yeah.
when I was young too, because they were like, You know, I had 3 sisters, and they would fucking gang up and
Yeah.
climb on each other's shoulders and become like sister
Yes,
Voltron.
super sister.
You know, and just be like, ah, and I'd be
Smacking
like,
around.
oh yeah, and I'd be
Indian
like,
burns
dude, I
and-
definitely
Yeah.
like every window in my bedroom as a little kid was broken. You know, there's like BB gun holes in the
Hell
walls
yeah.
and shit. But I would be like, so our house was kind of, it was like a trailer, but it's like a double wide with like a little add-on thing. And so the original kitchen, the kitchen was there, but it had like a kitchen window, you know, that used to open to outside.
Yeah.
Well, that opened into my bedroom.
So did you
So
jump through there?
So if you were in the kitchen,
Yeah.
you could open a window into my bedroom without me being able to control whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd put posters over that shit or whatever. But like my sisters would open it up and just talk shit through that window. You fucking idiot, look at you, and they're all upset, dude. And I would just fucking get away from me. I'd crawl out, and I'd just be walking across the desert, just fucking angry. You motherfucker.
Going nowhere,
Yeah.
right?
With my dog, I'd be like, come on, let's get out of here, dude.
Running away.
Yeah.
Running away.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, I think I just figured out how to handle it, I guess. And I listen to, I listen to a lot of heavy music. I freaking ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
I like to freaking do other things, you know, like, so I think there's like a lot of outlets for aggression that I have. You know,
Yeah,
I paint fucking,
kept everything at
I
bay.
paint shit that's like kind of gnarly sometimes and like crazy and like,
That one chopper you had was crazy in itself.
which one?
The little bunny bars all raked out.
Yeah.
That shit was wild.
That was a death trap we learned later.
I'm saying, bro, like that right there. It was I don't know. It was just ridiculous. It's some shit you don't do unless you part of that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a fun.
it's like I don't know if you ever ridden a lowrider bike, but you get on one of them motherfuckers, you get to pedaling, you don't like this
Yeah.
shit. Literally maybe 12 inches apart. His hands are.
Yeah,
Just
they were real
straight
tight,
down.
yeah.
You know what I mean? No angle. Man, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
With a springer on the front, like bouncy. It was
We're
like,
gonna upload pictures of all of his
How the
stuff
fuck do
too,
you
so
steer
you
that
guys
thing?
could get
How
the
do you steer
vibe.
it?
you
Just
lean.
real quick.
You just
Yeah.
lean.
Lean.
Lean, you know?
You lean.
You gotta be like a tumbleweed, man. You gotta just like let the wind take you, babe.
What advice?
It's cool. Don't fight it.
What advice would you give an artist who's younger and wants to pursue art as a career?
I would say number one is fucking hard, you know. And if you're lazy, you're gonna work more than just working a 9 to 5. You know, like if you really want to do it, you'll work all the time.
Yeah.
But it's satisfying. And I think like just like draw, like physically draw. You know what I mean? Like physically draw and let your hand like make stuff. Cause like, I don't know. I think if you're physically drawing and you have the human hand on a piece of paper, like all this shit, like just things happen that are cool, you know, that happen and like you kind of develop your ideas and things like that. And if you're just doing that over and over and over again, like you'll get to a place where you're doing stuff that you like, I think, you know? So I think just be persistent. Yeah. If you want to be an artist, just be persistent.
Now, more
fucking hard.
specifically, do you have any advice for like a new apprentice coming up?
Yeah,
'Cause
probably similar to the same. And with all this being said, I'm like not even, don't feel like I'm a place to tell anybody like how to learn anything, you know, which is why I've never had an apprentice or anything. I just go like, I still got way too much shit to learn.
Which
yeah.
is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. After 24 years, still learning.
God, it's
something.
just never
Yeah.
satisfied, which I think is kind of good too, because it keeps you driving, you know?
It forces
Yeah,
progression.
it forces progression. You don't want to get complacent in that stuff. Like, I don't know. That's like a weird thing, you know?
Yeah. Because if you continue to work, a month later it will look like dog shit.
Yeah.
You know, if you continue to
Yeah.
progress, no matter what you did before,
Yeah.
it will look better.
Yeah,
if
you want to
continue
look.
your-
You want to look at stuff and be like, "Damn, I drew that hand like better," or "I drew freaking like, damn, that body's all tweaked out, but it's like cool." You know what I mean? Like I figured it out how to make things look like the right way. Which I think is just like practice. And iPads are great and all, but like I just feel like when I draw on my iPad, like I draw on there too, and I use it for tattooing and stuff. But I just feel like there's something that gets lost. You know, there's like something missing. So like I draw on tracing paper, and then I get that idea, like I said with the unicorn thing. I get that where I'm like, that's the direction. And then if it's for a tattoo that I know I need to make like on there, I'll just take a photo of that and then I'll refine it from there and there.
That's a heavy choice too, because when you're on paper still, God, it takes so much longer.
Yeah,
You know?
it does. It's an extra step, but I feel like,
It develops.
yeah. Anytime I cut that corner, there's been times where I'll like look at a drawing and I'll be like, damn, I wish I could have drawn that again, you know, on like this or whatever.
So how you feel about the AI artists now?
I don't know. I mean, same thing. There's no life in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's cool. I mean, some of that shit's incredible, dude.
Right.
Like, badass looking. But I also think it's like,
It's generated.
it's fucking generated.
like
A little cheesy
making
at times.
Yeah.
the NPC beat to the
exactly.
instrument.
Yeah.
You know?
Instead of like some sweaty fucking drummer doing a beat or something, you know? Like, yeah, I don't know. Because there's tons of shit that I go like, damn, that's pretty crazy, badass. But like, I kind of go like, yeah, but there were painters that worked their whole lives to learn how to do that. And then, you know what makes me sad about it is like, I don't really care. It doesn't bother. Like, people are going to do it whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. And they're going to, you know, they're making amazing things. And I know people are losing jobs. But more than anything, I go, damn, the guys that are like adopting this as like a workflow, you know, doing the AI stuff, I go, man, they're really robbing themselves of like making artistic mistakes and then learning stuff, you know? Like, damn, they just punched that in there and that's what they made. And like, they didn't have to go through any steps of like screwing up an arm or drawing the fucking background or something, or just like making a mess and being like, oh, that shit's a castle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no like discoveries or mistakes, and it's like, that sucks, man. Which makes me sad.
And refines the eye and the palette along
Yeah.
the way. You know, when you do your detailed pieces, the reason that it looks good is because all of those mistakes.
Yeah.
All of those mistakes, putting a woman on a dragon's back, it's hard as fuck. You know what I mean? Deciding where her leg lies.
Yeah.
What's her hand doing? How's her hair flowing? You know?
Right. Like, where do you want the hair to flow? Where's the wind going in this thing?
Right.
It's weird shit, you know?
The Reaper's cloak, you know? That's one of the hardest things about tattooing is that our subject matter is all over the fucking place. And they look at you and they're just like, yeah, man, go ahead and do work. You know? Here, I'll be waiting for my masterpiece.
Yeah.
I find it hard. I still rely on heavy reference to get to my
I think
end
that's good.
result.
I think that's good, you know?
But I'm going to the point where hopefully, man, like soon I'll be able to just draw everything from the hand and it's just original. You know what I mean? I've gotten away from tracing, you know what I mean, for the anatomy and all of that type of stuff. But I still use reference heavy. But, you know, that's why I respect the game. You know what I mean?
Dude, that shit's hard, man, because it's like, reference, I think, is super good to stuff like that, you know? Especially, like, there's certain things where you want reference for. You know what I mean? Like, if you're drawing something that's, like, Japanese-inspired, you're like, man, I should probably look at, like, a Hanya mask or, like, a Japanese dragon because there's, like, little things. But there's also a lot of room to, like, kind of, like, tweak them out and make them unique and stuff like that, you know? So I think those references are very... It's like you got to build that library in your brain and under all yourself and do it from there because... You know, I don't think you need to draw everything from scratch if it's already done like beautifully. A Japanese dragon is already perfect. They're fucking. There's like a million perfect ones that are already drawn, and you can add your flair to them. You know, so why not look at those ones that are perfect and be like, that's why it's a Japanese dragon because it looks like that. You know. But maybe I want longer whiskers.
Right. Stylizing art, right?
Yeah.
We talked about your specific style. You're not trying to draw in a different way to be stylish. Right? Are you? Is it simple as something like, oh, I'm just gonna pull this line a little bit further and then do a loop at the end?
Oh, like consciously doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think it's just the way I draw now.
Yeah. I've tried to stylize art, like or push the envelope of art without having the background.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna stylize the fuck out of this drawing.
Yeah.
And then not have the hours of failure.
Yeah.
To say, okay, this is acceptable.
Right.
This is acceptable. Because that's what style is
Yeah.
seeing somebody who has failed over and over who knows that this looks right in this fashion.
Well, you
and
gotta
it reads well.
You gotta like practice. You gotta take the chances of pushing something, you know, far enough, and you're gonna fall over the edge. And many times until you go like, oh, that's the balance right there. I know I can do that move and make that look cool. You know. And so I think that's like. I don't know. I think that's where all that style comes from or something. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't really see. I think I'm too close to the cuff to look at that stuff and see it's all stylish or anything.
Right.
But like, I just go like, oh. And when I look at it, I go like, oh, I drew that. You know, like that looks like my drawing. Like it's like my signature or something. It looks like looks like I wrote that. You know.
Do you have any routines, or any spot in this house? Or even at the shop.
Yeah.
What unlocks all those creative juices? What gets the thoughts flowing the best? Is it the morning cup of coffee? What is it with? for you?
Sometimes I have dreams. I think I got like a crazy kind of. I think I've lived in a life of like imagination.
Yeah.
You know? Like I don't think my imagination ever goes away. It's never stopped. So it's just going and going and going. So I think like when I sit and I get to like kind of sift through the ideas, like I'll sit in my backyard is a big deal.
Okay.
I'll sit in my backyard and I'll think, and that's a big deal. I'll sit at my drawing table and think. You know.
Any certain time of day or
Nighttime.
any time?
Usually nighttime. Yeah. Usually nighttime. Yeah, usually the mornings I'm thinking more about like myself as a character, like what I want to be for that day, you know? And I go, hey dude, we could do this or whatever, you know? Like maybe today don't fucking talk so much shit. You know? You know what I mean?
You set yourself straight.
Yeah, let's do nice.
Yeah.
And then I'll have my cup of coffee and I'll be like, these sons of bitches are in for an
Yeah,
day,
yeah, they have no idea. Yeah.
After being around you,
Yeah, that usually cranks me up too. If I want too many cups,
I'll kick the door open,
someone's
I'll
getting
be
ass
like-
whooped that day.
I'll be like, what's up, nerds?
Yeah.
I was like, what's wrong with that shirt?
Yeah.
What
Take
are you
it off.
talking about?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Are you just wearing pajamas today?
right.
But yeah, I think, dude, honestly, all day long, my imagination is going fucking nuts. Like all day, it's kind of crazy, and it's a lot to handle. I think a lot of times, I'm constantly like, just making up fucking weird scenarios. So I'm at the Starbucks drive-thru. I'll be like, yeah, what if that lady reaches out to grab her coffee and she's got like a fucking dragon arm? That'd be weird, right? You know, like stuff like that. It's just constant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of these things? That's your normal thought.
Constantly,
Okay.
That's
So
that's what I want
you
to
get a
know.
visual and you attack the visual.
Yeah, and then I take that later or something, or I'll come up with something later and like.
Okay.
I try to make that shit happen.
These are thoughts inside of your brain.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I'm trying to get to.
That's-
Like,
yeah,
like
so-
you
hey,
pick a theme, like, oh, today I'm gonna fucking draw fucking a lady right in the back. Nah, like he dreamed that shit
No,
the
it's-
fuck up.
I feel like it took an hour of us grilling you to get back to our first question. That's it. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Like
Ruh-roh.
I'm looking at it now, like, damn.
Yeah.
Guys, like,
Now
yeah.
I see it from not from your perspective. I see it from a whole new perspective.
Dude,
now.
it's just a runaway train of
Yeah.
ideas, and I just gotta wrangle them in and figure it out. You know?
I dig it.
Cats or dogs?
Do I like better?
Yeah.
All animals.
Okay.
Except for turkeys. Fuck turkeys.
Oh, okay.
Turkeys.
Turkeys.
Yeah.
Fuck a turkey.
You get bit by a turkey?
I got
They're
attacked by a
mean.
turkey when
Yeah,
I was
turkeys
little.
are mean.
Little sons of
Yeah,
bitches.
he
Yeah.
got trauma.
And then we had 2 turkeys at my parents' house when I was a kid too, and like we couldn't walk out to the car without a stick.
Yeah.
Those are
No,
the worst
and
birds,
they
man.
jump real high and they'll come at you.
Yeah, I love Thanksgiving.
Turkeys suck. Yeah.
Roosters.
Oh, that
Roosters,
rooster. Oh, yeah.
man. You
Yeah.
know? I enjoy watching people get fucked
Yeah.
up by geese and roosters.
Yeah.
Like when they get little
They're
kids
just
and shit.
agile.
And the little
Boom, boom,
kids
boom.
try to run away and shit.
Yeah.
I love that.
But I don't know, cats
Get his
and
ass.
dogs are the shit.
We draw more cats than you do dogs.
Well, yeah, and I had cats, so it all depends what's going on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I figured when I was doing all those big cat paintings, I had cats.
Oh,
I had
okay.
2 cats, and that was my theme. And I had like a real short amount of time to get for an art show. I had to paint like a bunch of pieces for the art show, and I was like, I'm just gonna do a fucking gang of cats, weird cats. And so I drew all those big ass weird ones.
How do you approach an art show? I've never had a soul art show. How do you approach that? Do you is it I'm going to finish 2 paintings a month until this date? Is it here we go?
Yeah, it's just like, here we go. Let's stay up late every night and just keep going. Like I said, once the ball's rolling, I want to keep it rolling, you know?
How long do you paint at night? Like,
God, dude, if I'm working on a piece, like I'll have to make myself go to bed. You know?
Oh, shit.
I'll be like, dude, it's 4. I gotta fucking go to bed. You know?
that's tight.
Like I gotta go to bed. And I've tried to paint in the morning, but like, I don't know. I like the nighttime, man. You know? There's something about it. Like you can't go to the store. You can't fucking do anything. Everybody's sleeping. No one's trying to call you. You know what I mean? It's quiet.
Yeah.
I like the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the darkness. It feels good.
Would you describe your art dark?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of dark romantic, I think, is what I like to balance, you know?
Ooh, okay. Talk
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Romantic. So you over all right, yeah.
I like to be like darkly romantic. I think that's cool.
I do get love story. I do get drama. I do get
Yeah.
heartbroken. You know what I mean?
I think any of those warrior things or any of that shit, it's all like some love story plus fighting. It's cool, you know?
Do you Do you put yourself in those shoes at all?
Probably, yeah.
Do you are you a hopeless romantic, or do you like that idea of the night going after the lady?
I think that's cool. Yeah, I think
that's
really
bitching,
cool.
huh?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, he's a lover.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? You get that too, ladies and gentlemen.
I care.
You know, hit my boy Jim up. You know? Nah, man, I'm looking at the pieces on the wall.
Yeah.
I've never seen you draw a whimpering woman, a woman that's not powerful either.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of powerful women around me.
Right. That's dope.
Yeah.
You know, this is all coming out now.
Yeah, my mom and my sisters are all strong women. It's cool, you know?
I like the medieval flair on there. I like the drama, the contrast between two, soft and hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that balance of like, I don't know. I think that shit's cool, dude. Like there was a minute I was drawing that's what those two girls are from too. Like I was drawing all these like dragon slayer kind of looking ladies, you know? And I was like, I like that where they're like they're just like classic fashion model poses, you know? But like, you know, their gowns are bloody.
Yeah.
And they got freaking big ass weapons.
Van Helsing
And you're like, there's some
style,
weird shit, you know?
Well, it makes
You're
you
it's
quite
fucking
like,
cool.
why?
Yeah.
That's immediately what I do when I look at the piece. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, those two are a good example too of those two have a third that's like hanging on the wall right here. This girl on the horse, and there's kind of a complete story. Like those two are like hunting her, and if you notice, like them two, their dresses are all bloody from the top down, but there's bullet holes around them.
Yeah.
So those are the two hunters, and they're hunting her. That's on this horse over here.
Yeah.
And if you look at her, her clothes isn't bloody, but her boots are red, and then she's got a gun, so she's like shooting back at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I was like, that's a cool dynamic. They're like hunting, but like who's badder, dude? I don't know.
Yeah, you got a movie going on in your own home.
Yeah.
With the art.
Yeah.
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 There's stories.
Crazy,
we're,
right?
We're trapped in a Jim dream right
Yeah.
now with all of his characters.
Yeah, and
shit.
then
that's
crazy,
cuz.
And I finish it and I go, oh, I hate that. Now to the next one.
Yeah, right. That's cool, man.
Let's go to
Jim,
the next thing.
This is exactly why I wanted to come here.
Cool.
Because I knew it would be exactly like this, and I really wanted to tap in. And like, it's hard to get shit from you.
Well,
but
it's
now
weird.
I got a microphone on
things,
you. You know what I mean? So
I
it's
keep
like,
things close to the cuff, and
yeah.
I think a lot of times like my mouth can run a little slower than my brain. You know, and so like it's hard to kind of verbalize things sometimes. But I'm kind of mentally prepared to do this because I was like, I gotta think straight and not be crazy.
I've always thought that you were
Bring it out. Bring out the crazy.
picky on others people's art.
Yeah.
About when you give a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
This dude is picky.
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of, like, Jim won't really fuck with you if you don't put in the art and you call yourself an artist, man. He will, like...
Yeah, I think there's like a certain amount of genuineness that you gotta freaking...
Yep.
And not just be like...
I hate...
just coasting, you know?
I hate him and Dave Richardson relationship for that. Because it's like two wizards that do spells together and you want to go see the spells. You know what I mean? But you're not a wizard yet. You know what I mean? You're still a wizard in training.
That's the thing. Me and Dave Richardson, like, you know, we do
It's like
think like that. And that's... if anybody's over at my house late at night and Dave kind of crashes here sometimes with me, he'll just, you know, hey, let's have a hangout night and freaking talk. And that's what the whole night will be like, Dave, well, look at this fucking weirdo dude.
Yeah.
Was drawing centipedes with arms and we're like, it just goes and goes and goes until we're
And
like,
y'all check out Dave Richardson too, man. He's another fucking wizard who doesn't get nearly enough fucking credit for his tattoos.
For how much he produces, man, that guy has a shit ton of drawings.
Do you
that
think
are cool.
that hurts an artist sometimes? You know,
Yeah.
because you guys aren't playing into the trend of tattooing, you know? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I think it
Man.
hurts. Because Dave, I was like looking through his he's got like a digital flash book that no one has access to except for him, you know. And I'm just like, dude, you gotta put this online. Like, there's so much good stuff in here. There's like cyber babes and like all this crazy like buff fucking women and like dudes with no
insane.
arms, you know, like weird stuff.
original continent, like
Hand-drawn,
hand-drawn.
everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
And people, they don't respect it how they should anymore. And
Yeah.
it drives me nuts. It's almost
Yeah.
like true artistry is becoming the backpack version of rap.
Yeah.
You know, like all the MCs in rap, like are the backpack guys, the gritters, you know,
Yeah.
KRS-One, Jay
Yup.
Dilla, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But they've never gotten that full respect because they didn't diddy out. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? They didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, they didn't. They did the work, and then other people took like their work and freaking made it flashy or whatever.
I wish art would change in that way a little bit.
I wish too, man, because I think there's a lot of badass people doing cool shit that aren't getting seen enough, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you know, there's a lot of stuff being seen that's just like not that cool.
It's really not. Yeah, and it's a lot of it's redone.
It's just a lot of it's redone.
Yeah.
It just looks, you know?
So original content, like, and the reason it's redone is because it's hard as fuck.
Yeah, I don't
to
think
create original content from the head and
Yeah.
make it look aesthetically pleasing. I don't give a fuck.
Well, and
Anyway,
I feel like it should be hard, you know? That shit should not be easy.
I will draw on something
Yeah.
for a long time
Yeah.
because I want it to be long lasting. I
Dude,
don't want
and
it
I've
to.
seen your stuff like take leaps and bounds over drawings, and
Thank
I'm
you,
like,
bro.
damn, good job, Brandon. That's tight, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like you said, like I don't mean to not give out compliments all the time. It's just like I just feel like I'm like always looking at artwork, so maybe it's just all in my head that I'm just like looking at stuff. And usually when I'm looking at something that's that I'm enjoying, I go like I'll see a piece and I'll be like, oh, this is cool, and I'll be like, and then my brain goes like, well, why do you like that, and like, and I'll like look across the whole thing and I'm like, well, that face is like kind of normal, that's cool though, and then I'll be like, oh, you know what it is that her fingers are like kind of weirdly long. Like I like that, like that, like that shit is tight. Like that one little thing, I go like, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
Being authentic with your critiques.
Yeah.
And, like you ain't gonna put nobody down,
Nah.
but you're not gonna give them the attention either until they show themselves. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I'm not in the market or in the business of like hurting anybody. I like if people are creating, that's cool. That's tight. I like that. Everybody should make something.
And it's not gatekeeping, but it's holding a level. It's holding,
Yeah,
it's a respect thing. You know what I mean? I don't know how to convey it completely, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because then when I do get like, oh yeah, that's dope, B.
Yeah.
It's genuine rather than somebody just giving me some fluff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's being built like.
When I try to be conscious of, like I said earlier, like I try to, maybe as I get older too, I try to be conscious of like, what kind of information am I putting in my head, and like, what am I adding to this weird library of skills and stuff that maybe I don't think about. I was talking to Dave Richardson about this the other day because I was like telling him that I had to replace the door handle on my fucking truck, right? Mm-hmm. And I said I replaced that thing. It took me an hour, and I was like, that is like not a skill I need in my brain, and now I know how to do that. And I'm like, what? I don't want hard drive in my brain having how to replace the door handle of your truck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That shit's on YouTube. Don't be in my brain. I want to save that for something cooler.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I go like, I gotta be conscious about like, okay, what am I holding on to here?
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a critique or criticism that still sticks with you?
Oh, dude,
right
up here. We on the same
I was like, I want to fucking ask you first.
Let me try to think. And at the time, I think I probably took it like hard, but like now I'm like, all right, I get it what they were saying. There was like a Juxtapause, the magazine show, right? And they were like taking submissions from certain people, and so I sent a little thing, and they're like, oh, this is cool, dude. Like, they're like, oh, send us the pieces that you would want to put in for this, and I was like, okay. So I sent them all these things, and they were like, werewolf hands and like freaking this, and like all these like, and they're like, one of them was all green, and then the backgrounds had these weird like kind of Art Nouveau frames with like buildings in them and stuff like that. And the lady sent me back, and she was just like, or the person, whoever it was that sent me back, and they just said like, yeah, we're gonna probably pass on your stuff, but they're like, because we think your borders are much cooler than like the main topic of like your painting.
Shut the fuck up.
And I was just like,
whoa, that's rough.
And at the time I was like, what the fuck? I was kind of like pacing around. I was like, well, fucking who doesn't like a werewolf hand, dude? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, it's got like a fucking suit on. He's like, cool. It's like weird, just my own like ego or brain or whatever. And now I have those pieces still, and I look at them, I go, the borders are the coolest part of this fucking thing,
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of look at it and I go like, yeah, that could have been cooler.
And one of those failure moments where you feel,
Totally
or not
cool.
a failure moment because you felt like it was good.
Yeah.
But now you look at your work.
Yeah.
And you notice you're better. So this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The refinement. You know?
It was like, I think that's probably been a give or take with me forever. It's like I gotta know when to hold back. That's like a thing. Like for me, like I gotta go, like I gotta stop messing with this thing before I ruin it.
Damn, Jim. This has been good.
Hey.
Have you watched any of the episodes Have you tapped in any?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I listen to Zach's. I listen to Brian's. I listen to Mike's.
Hell yeah,
I don't listen to
man.
the rest of them. I was telling
what's up.
Zach that I freaking liked all those, man. They're cool.
Good,
Yeah,
man.
you guys did a good job of just getting to everybody. It's tight, you know?
Yeah, people are they're asking and they're enjoying everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want Peacock. You know they want cuz they want you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like those episodes. I feel like I learned some stuff about my friends I didn't know.
Man, it's deep, right?
Yeah, and I was listening. I was like, I had a little notebook, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna make fun of that later."
Is there any other friends you want to send over? You let us know. Yeah, we'll put it offline. You'll be like, oh, go interview this dude right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know the secrets. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, dude, they've been killer, man. You guys' episodes have been good. I'm psyched to be part of this.
hell yeah, man.
Hopefully, I'm doing enough. I don't know.
Dude.
Not enough.
Hopefully we're doing enough. I hope
you guys are doing enough.
conveying
Yeah.
the message. You know, this is part of my fucking. You motherfuckers ain't paying attention. They ain't paying attention because there's still some dope shit out here. Within this world we're living in, there's still core individuals out here doing dope shit.
Fuck yeah.
Living by a different code, not fucking cutting corners on the artistry. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
An
dude.
embodiment of what it is that they believe in.
Yeah.
And you're hearing it, man. And I'm patting myself on the back a little bit too, just
Yeah, you
because.
should. This is cool.
Like, yeah, motherfucker, this is the homie Jim.
Well, and both you
know?
guys, like, this dynamic works good. Like, it's a good dynamic. You keep things moving. I like it. That was my only concern. I was like, I don't know how to verbalize stuff in my head, but you guys are easy to talk to, so it makes it like nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you keep it moving, which is nice.
We're like,
I
dude,
need that
we're
help
loose.
sometimes because I could like go off on some tangent where I'm just like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever fucking collected earthworms?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got that too. Yeah. Yeah.
Every episode, we do a section of the episode that's called a roundup.
Okay. Round it up.
You could give us a quote. If you could give us a quote about something that you live by,
Yeah.
that embodies you, what would your quote be?
I thought about this because you said that. I found my quote, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it.
Okay. Yeah, I like this.
And I'm fucking, I'm silly, and I like being silly. But this is like important, you know?
Yeah.
I think there's also more to it, but I think this is cool. I wrote my quote down right here. Okay. I'll read the quote first, and then I'll tell you what great philosopher it's by.
Okay.
All right. It says, you can't fake the funk of the nasty dunk. And that's by great mind Shaquille O'Neal.
Not bad. Big Shaq. Yeah, Big Shaq. Big Shaq.
You can't fake the funk of the nasty dunk.
Hey, shout out Shaq, man.
You know?
Shout out Shaq.
I love
And
Shaq. I actually love
seems,
Shaq.
I know that seems weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
I fucking think
Hey,
Shaq.
Yeah.
don't fake the funk, y'all.
Of the nasty dunk.
Of the nasty dunk.
And now, like, I think that's super funny to say, and it rolls off your tongue. It's nice.
Yeah.
But it also is because I said, okay, when you love what you do and bring a genuine energy to your work, everyone knows it. If you are real deal, when you're going through the motions, they know that too. You know. So it's like, don't do it and fake it. You know.
Yeah.
Be real. Be genuine.
See, I was
That's
gonna
a-
fuck
Put
with
it into
you.
it.
I thought that came from that era, the Jersey era, but then you put some real shit behind there.
Yeah.
And you turned it into something really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm
man.
like a fucking scholar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're a great balance of fucking craziness, fun, and intelligence.
Thanks,
is
man. Yeah.
So you're a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
Me and Zach, we've really enjoyed all our guests.
Good.
You're our last guest for this season, so this ends season 1. We
shit,
wanted
all
to
right.
go out with a bang,
Yeah.
and we got Zach Peacock over here
Yep.
filming with the footage. We got Brian Brixton over here in the background shooting some stuff too.
Yeah, man.
So we brought out the heavy hitters,
Yeah.
guys.
We
this
got
shit is
the whole
about
army
to
with
look
this one.
crazy.
Well, I appreciate
man.
all
I'm
you
not even
guys
gonna
coming
front.
together for whatever this
Well,
ends up
this
being.
is from me and Zach too. Go ahead and open that up
Oh,
real quick.
thanks,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? Like my
Fucking, I need an envelope.
So we try to do. I'm gonna explain it because you're an open. You'll be like, what the fuck? So your actual gift hasn't gotten here yet.
hasn't?
It's still being made.
What is it?
So you're getting some custom and
Scorpion?
I showed you the. I just printed out. I just threw some stickers and I printed out the design.
What? What'd you guys
Yeah.
make? Oh shit! What is this?
That's gonna be a custom made belt buckle.
No way! That's
That's
fucking cool,
I
dude.
saw
Look
you-
at that, dude.
You fuck with belt buckles, and that's a cool style that I
Oh,
dig
dude,
as
I
well.
love that. That's cool, man.
Yeah, so
Thanks,
it's gonna
man.
be custom made by Molly Silver.
Fuck yeah. This is tight.
They're out of
Thank
Texas.
you.
Yeah. So when it
Damn,
gets
that's
here,
cool, man. You guys have to do all that. That's freaking awesome.
When it gets here, I'll bring it right to you.
Dude, thank you, dude. I appreciate
You
that.
have to send a picture of your waist.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I will. You guys are going to be like, do it with pants and a shirt on. Dude.
Right.
I'm just wearing
Hey, man.
just the belt and
That's
the buckle.
just the way it's gonna go. Yeah, for that day.
Jim got the thinnest shirts ever. His shirts be so damn thin. Jim will not throw away a shirt. This guy is Mr. Vintage over here.
Dude, you
might
gotta-
be getting on it. He'd be like, "Hey, you don't wear a
you.
collared shirt without an undershirt. You don't wear a button up." Jim be like, "Nah, dude, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
I love it."
you know, people are too scared to be sexy these days. And
Hey,
I'm like,
tell him, Jim.
I'll show a little skin. It's
That's
fine,
right.
dude.
Yeah.
See-through shirt. When did that go out of style? People
Right.
were wearing mesh shirts all the time back in the
I'm saying.
Never
You know?
did. People
Yeah.
talk shit about my short shorts too.
Yeah.
That's why I got my legs super
A
tattooed.
mid-drift shirt.
Yeah.
I don't mind a mid-drift shirt.
All the
I'll show
homies,
some fucking
all the
weight.
homies like what they like.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, all you guys are some particular motherfuckers about your shit.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
I'll
on
be
your
standing there and
beliefs.
he'll be like, Jim, you ever gonna get your back done? And I'm like, oh yeah, you can see it, right?
Right. It's like, oh,
See through my
damn.
shirt.
Yeah, you sweating? Guys? Like, nah. Yeah. You look like you just ran. You know? But thank you, Jim, so much for coming
thank you guys
on,
for
man.
having me. This is tight.
I hope you guys have enjoyed season 1. I want to let Jim get the last word. Man, just go ahead and take us out, Jim.
All right. Thanks for having me, you guys. This has been a beautiful episode here on Love Sandwich.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
All right.
That was a really good one. A love sandwich. You came back to it. Goddamn, thank you.
Bring it around.